Yeah. There is this show called The Big C, I believe it's called.
Okay.
And it's about a woman who has cancer and she's kind of like going through it and not really telling her family at the beginning of the show and everything. And so her husband that she's kind of separated from at one point throws a giant birthday party for her, and everybody's just gushing about it, like, oh my god, you're so lucky he threw you a birthday party. And somebody's talking to her about it, why are you so unhappy with him, he threw you this great birthday party. And she's like, you want to know what kind of cake he got me chocolate with raspberry filling because it's my favorite. And they were like, well, that seems really nice. And she's like, that's not my favorite cake, that's his favorite cake. He's never asked me what my favorite cake is. And essentially the show, like that first season, is her telling this guy, because he always says that she sucks the fun out of everything and she's this and she's that, and she's like, that's because I've spent the last 20 years or however many years of our marriage picking up after you and closing cabinets after you and doing all this, so I'm not fun anymore because of all of these things that I have to do for you, and then in return you know nothing about me. And that kind of segues into the gold versus silver, which is something that Mallory and I have talked about on the episode before, where, a guy will buy a beautiful silver necklace for his wife. It's silver with diamonds and it's beautiful. And I got this for our anniversary, whatever. And everybody goes, oh, wow, you're so lucky. You're so lucky. And then she brings her beautiful new silver necklace into her, closet with her jewelry. And all the rest of her jewelry is gold. And that, the whole thing there is your husband sees you every single day with gold jewelry on and buys you a silver necklace because he doesn't see you. And people will go, well, you're just lucky he got you anything. No, I'm sorry, but why should the person that I'm spending the rest of my life with be held to a standard that is less than my best friend? My best friend would never buy me something, that's purple when she knows my favorite color is blue and whatever else. And that, I think, kind of goes hand in hand with like the whole, I'm just checking to see how your day is, or I know that this is important to you, so I'm going to ask you about it, or I know that you love flowers, so when I was at Jewel and I was picking up this for myself, they have $10 flowers there, so I picked this up for you. Whatever it is, just to know that you're thinking about that person because you care about that person, and you should care about that person if that's who you're dating, if that's who you love, and whatever else. Because I'm sure in some way they are taking care of you. They are, making sure that you have a bottle of water by your nightstand every night, or whatever. I'm making food and I'm not seasoning it with this because I know you're allergic to it, or whatever. There's all these different ways that you can care for somebody, and to not do, especially with her sitting you down like that. I would have never done that before this last year. That's how I am now, where when I am having an issue with somebody that I'm seeing or talking to or dating or whatever, I will now tell them, like, you never have to guess how I'm feeling because I'm going to tell you. Sometimes you're going to like that, sometimes you're going to fucking hate it. But
Good.
I'm going to tell you that, hey, that pissed me off, and I'm going to tell you why it pissed me off because of this, this, this. I know I reacted poorly to it, but it's because I was really upset, and this is why. And that gets you really far with the right people. With the wrong people, they're going to go, well, what the fuck was that? They're going to expect an apology. The right people are going to go, thank you for explaining that. Because it's, it goes a long way to because like you said, I think it's not just boy brain. I think it's also everybody operates so differently. What is super important to me may not be super important to the next person.
And
And
that's fair. And
yeah.
and and that's kind of like where I was when you're talking about this is all valid and I completely understand the reasoning behind it. But sometimes some people just aren't listening.
Hmm.
I always put it like this. I when I was in first grade, my teacher taught us that numbers are even and even numbers are odd. She just happened to say odd numbers are 2, 4, 6 and even numbers are 3, 5, 7. All right. That's just what she taught us.
Was that
And
a
I
lesson? Like, was there a lesson in
no,
the lesson, or did she fuck up?
she was just wrong.
Oh.
All right. She was just wrong.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
And so I have to live with that, right? I
Hmm.
am damn near next to death, and I still have to think, what are the odd numbers? I have to odd number. Okay, it's the opposite of
Hmm.
whatever I'm thinking. What I mean by this is that every single person that you date is going to have a very specific set of things that they're interested in and that are important to them.
Mhm.
The next person you date is going to be drastically different.
Right.
And they're going to say, I don't give a fuck about that stuff. I don't care that you know the difference between whether I wear gold jewelry or silver jewelry.
Right.
That's important to you. And
Right.
that makes it important within
Mhm.
the context of your relationship with somebody. But if you've dated enough people, you'll find so many people that don't care about like here's the thing. A lot of people love to fart in front of their partner because they think it's like it brings emotional intimacy and it brings closeness. I think it's repulsive.
Yeah, that shit's gross.
And so that's just me. Like I
Mhm.
would never intentionally do that in front of my partner, right?
Right.
I'm a dumb boy and I wouldn't do that, right?
Right.
And so, but here's the thing, there are people that I've been with who said that's important because it makes me it gives me a level of closeness with my partner.
Okay.
And I'm like, I don't, that doesn't compute in my brain, but I understand that that's important to
Yeah.
you. And so again another layer of difficulty
Right.
when you talk about dating, things that are important to you and being able to sit down. And sometimes, like I was talking to a friend of mine and she's like, I'm like, well, did you tell him that that bummed you out? She goes, I shouldn't have to teach him. And I'm like, you're right. You're absolutely right. Nobody should have to teach anyone about anything. You should know. But then you need to understand what the consequences are going to be for that.
Right.
You're going to, why not? I'm going to tell you, and because this is just how I operate, I'm going to tell you when my feelings are hurt, when I feel like I am being taken advantage of.
Mhm.
I'm going to tell you these things. And I understand that a lot of, especially men in our culture, well, it's getting slightly better, still feel the pressure to not, they don't like feeling vulnerable with
Mhm.
their feelings. They don't like expressing those feelings, and they don't have the ability to express those things. They only know, I'm mad.
Right.
They don't know how to say, why am I mad?
Right.
Is it because I'm jealous? Why does that jealousy there? It's because of my insecurities. What are my insecurities? Well, I don't want to talk about those insecurities
Right.
because they make me feel scared. And that's what it all comes down to, is people's inability to communicate,
Mhm.
whether that is a man or a woman or everything in between. So many people are afraid to do that and they don't know how to do it. And I understand the anger, but I don't understand it truly because I'm not a woman. So I don't know what it's like to date a man.
Mhm.
So I understand that those comes with a completely different level of frustration. I hear about it all the time, but I'll never know because I don't date men.
Right.
Um, but I can't even remember what rant I was on right now. So
Well, yeah, I think that's, the whole I guess what you're expecting out of a relationship as far as communication and everything like
Mhm.
that. And I think what goes hand in hand with people that don't know how to communicate and say, I am mad and I can't tell you why. I think on the opposite side of that, you're also getting a lot of people that are regurgitating things that they're hearing from TikTok and
Oh,
like the
100%.
the
Yeah.
therapy speak that they're hearing on there, and they're going, well,
Hmm.
these are my boundaries and I'm being gaslit and you're manipulating me. And it's like, I'm just having a conversation with you. I'm not like
Yep.
I got told that I was gaslighting somebody once because I told him that I was feeling hurt by something that they did. And he's like, well, I feel like you're gaslighting me right now. And I was like, what? That's crazy. I don't know what you're saying to me right now. You're telling me
Yeah.
I'm gaslighting you because I'm telling you about my feelings that you hurt? Huh?
And I
And
get it that people aren't going to get along, and I get it that you're going to have to compromise, and I get it that everybody's going to get into arguments and disagreements. I understand that, but it's not the fact that you're getting into arguments, it's how you resolve those
yeah,
arguments. It's, do
right.
you know how to be humble and say, you know what, I was wrong? Do you not know how to do that? Like, do you know what I'm saying? Do you know
Yeah.
how to communicate like why you're upset, why you're feeling the feelings that you're feeling? Because if they're just throwing out random like therapy speak at you that they learned
I'm
on
being
TikTok,
gaslit
or
right
you know what I'm
now.
saying? Like, oh,
Pardon?
you don't understand. Be like, I don't think that that's what that word means,
So
what
what
you
that
think it
means.
means. But but also like that's a great indicator of incompatibility. And I also don't, I think it's important, and I think that there's a I think it's a very important thing to kind of look for those indicators of incompatibility,
Yeah.
just as much as finding someone that makes you feel special, you know?
Yeah, I think that's a huge one is not just how you get along, but I think how you argue and how you resolve things is also
Hmm.
huge. And for me and that person that I dated last year, we like he would just go from 0 to 100 and I was like, "Why are you yelling?" Like, "Oh my
Oh
God."
yeah.
Like I'm having a conversation with you. I'm like, "Do you want to get loud cuz I can yell too. I don't know what we're yelling about, but I can too. I can like cuz and
It's
that's usually the tactic is I'm going to be louder than you to intimidate you. I'm like, bitch, I can be loud too. So let's do
you know,
it.
it's funny whenever I start dating somebody, I'm like, I'm just a loud person in
Yeah.
general, that when I get mad, I get quiet.
I'm
And
kind
I
of the
and
same way. Yeah.
I always tell people, I'm like, when I get you'll know when I'm mad at you. I'm
Mm-hmm.
like, when I'm mad, I get quiet.
Oh, yeah.
I because I am measured with how I respond now,
Yeah.
meaning a lot of times I'll just need like, give me 5 minutes. I
Yeah.
need to calm down so I can, because I don't want to
Yeah.
end up saying things that I don't mean.
Yeah.
And
Let me
I
see if
don't
I'm
do
still
that
mad about
anymore.
this in 5 minutes. Give me a minute.
Right, right. I just need to calm down because I'm
Yeah.
not gonna yell at you. I'm not. I just don't do that anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And not that I ever really did. I yell in my daily life. I'm
Yeah.
just a loud motherfucker. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? Like I'm a chatty, loud dude. But when it comes to, oh, we're gonna get serious about this, then I'll be like, okay, so let me tell you how I feel, and I'm gonna listen to you.
Mm-hmm.
And if I disagree, you know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
that's when you know I'm upset is when I get
Right.
quiet. So like I don't I know that people do. I know that's a
Yeah.
thing. I understand that. But
Right.
yeah.
Yeah. So I think, kind of, I don't really know how to segue into auto because we were talking about like the short attention spans, the burnouts from doom scrolling and everything like that. And I kind of wanted to go into the pros and cons of the old dating versus the new dating, which we kind of did talk about. So we don't really have to get into the nitty gritty, but I will, I will ask you this with more access and more choices. Do you think that it is easier? And when I say easier to meet people, I don't mean do you think it's easier to get a date? I mean, do you think it's easier to find a solid partner now than it was back then because of all the access? Or do you think it's harder because there are so many options?
Uh Basically, to go right off of what you're saying, I think it is it's easier to find a date.
Hmm.
It's harder to find a relationship.
Right.
Um I know that if I got on the apps right now, I could find someone, some some far-sighted person to agree to meet up with me,
Like
in
right
whatever
now, yeah.
context. I know
Somebody's
that I
down.
could,
Yeah.
if I put in enough time, you can make it work. If
Hmm.
like what to say, how to say it, like not to freak people out, not to come out being like, show me your boobs, like third message, like dude, like calm like you know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
I know that that that's an option. That wasn't an option back in the day. That was not an option. Being able to
Right.
find somebody tonight. Finding a relationship though is dramatically more difficult. It is so tough now because there are so many options, because but I also feel like a lot of that has to do with age as well. I feel
Yeah.
like the older that people get, the the fact that they are over it. Like you got to kind of find somebody who's been through it, who's like put their time in the trenches. Like you can't find somebody who just joined Bumble like yesterday. Like you got to find somebody who's done their time, who's put in the years,
Yeah.
and that are just over it. And then it can kind of like be able to look at it objectively for what it is, and then kind of be like, I'm so over this. I just want to find somebody to live a life with,
Hmm.
to share a life, to share happiness, to share experiences with.
Hmm. Yeah, I think that that is such a good perspective because I have actually told my parents the same thing, and I've said this to people before too, where when it comes to dating, I more now more than ever I date with intention because I'm like not that I wasn't before, But now I can say, at my ripe age that I have I've dated a lot and I went clubbing a lot and I had so much fun being single and I had so much fun being in like dating around and I did a lot. I got to have so many cool, fun single experiences that I'm over it now. And
Yeah.
if I was never on the dating scene again, there is nothing that I would not miss. There's nothing that like I would be like, or is there's nothing that I would miss. I wouldn't be like, oh, I'm never gonna have a first date again, or I'm never gonna do this again. I'm never gonna have a first kiss with a guy again. I'm cool with that.
Yeah.
I did my
More than
time.
happy.
Yeah, it's like like you said, I did my time. I had so much fun. I got all of that out and I had a lot of fun doing it and now I'm good. There if I met the guy of my dreams and got married, there are no regrets as far as like and this
No.
is something that I've talked to somebody recently about where I was like I don't have any exes that I'm like still talking to as far as like oh we still flirt, we still this. I don't have that. I don't have a one that got away. I don't have any sort of ties to anybody like that. So when it comes to me meeting somebody, I got no ties. I got no regrets. I am good. I did my
Yeah.
time. So,
Yeah.
and that I think makes it almost a little bit easier to date because I'm like, yeah, no, I don't have an ex to fall back on. I don't have, oh, well, I still want to be single and I still want to go do all that fun stuff or whatever. Like, no, I'm good. There's a lot of things that I can do single, but I can still do them even if I'm in a relationship. So,
Yeah, I never understood that. Like I was always like I get it, people want to go back to the comfort of things, but for me, like they're an ex for a reason.
yeah,
Like
that's how I
like
feel about
there
it.
there isn't anybody that I've ever dated, and I still talk to probably a decent amount of my exes.
Hmm.
Like not like every single day, like good morning, good night, or anything
Yeah.
like that, but like, like every couple of weeks, couple of months, whatever. Um, I'm still friends with probably most of my exes.
Hmm.
There's a couple who are not fans of me. I get it, but like, but like, no. But if people were like, oh, well, are they an option? Or if they were an option, I would be with them.
Right. Yeah.
Like I don't. If I wanted to be and if I wanted to date them, then I would actively be pursuing them,
Right.
not you.
Right.
Does that make sense?
Oh yeah, for sure.
I don't know.
I think that it would depend on context too because I think that as a girl, I think that if somebody I was dating was friends with a lot of their exes, I would have a lot of questions. Like and I think that that's fair. I think
Mm.
anybody that has questions about anybody in your life, this is something that I talk about in one of the episodes too where I'm like, if I'm dating somebody, I want them to have questions about the people in my life. Like, I want
Yeah.
you to be curious about who this is and who that guy is and why I talk to this person a lot. Like, yeah, please ask me. Just don't be a dick about it. Don't be like, well, you're not
Right.
allowed to talk to that person. Okay, well, can I tell you what the fucking deal is first? Like, that's kind of where that boundary is. But yeah, I want you to ask why I'm still friends with these people and how you fit in my life and how they fit in my life and how
Mhm.
eventually you guys will probably meet and like
Yeah.
there's a lot more to it and I think that communication is the number one thing and as long as both parties can communicate well and ask the uncomfortable questions and be okay with being asked the uncomfortable questions
Hmm.
you can make it work and like I'm an avid believer that if both parties really want something to work I think it can. I think as long as two people are like putting in the effort to make it work, you can make it work. But
Yeah.
people are going to
Um,
fall short.
of
And
course they are because we all have our own insecurities.
right,
And some of us don't realize that we have insecurities. Do you
right,
know what I'm saying? Some
sure,
people can only recognize a portion of their insecurities.
right,
And so like to your point, like yeah, like I've talked to plenty of people like on dating apps who are like, "Oh, well you work with your ex." I'm like, "Yeah, we own a business together." And they're like, "Well, what's that like?" And I'm like, "Well, it's fine. It's
yeah,
fine. She's a friend. She's my
right,
business partner."
right,
And they're like, "I just don't think I'd feel comfortable with that." And I'm like, "Okay."
all right,
Like, here's the thing. I'm not going to go inside your brain and deconstruct your insecurities on why you feel uncomfortable with it. That's on you. That's not
right,
I can't fix you. I can't change that about you. I can't
right,
undo decades of insecurities and jealousies in your brain. Like
Right.
I'm not that smart or powerful. And then I always just
Yeah.
say, okay, like that. Like here's the thing,
Sure.
m- we will never get back together,
Mm-hmm.
and that's for on both of our parts. And we,
Right.
yeah, I still care about her, but
Right.
like at the same time, like that's not an issue, and
Right.
it shouldn't be an issue. But the thing is that I understand that that will be an issue for a lot of women,
Yeah.
and and they can't handle the fact that like, well, do you still talk to your exes? And I'm like, some of them, yeah. I mean,
Right.
not on like a regular basis, but like some of them are married and some of them are, but like they were in my life because they were
Right.
cool and they were fun and they were,
Right.
and we got along. Just because I'm not with them romantically anymore doesn't mean that like I don't, like I turn that off. And they're like, well,
Mm-hmm.
why do you still talk to them then? And I'm like, because they're my friend.
Yeah.
Now I understand that that is difficult for a lot of people to process.
Sure.
And I get that. But at the same time, that's on you. That's not on me. If I
Right.
wanted to be with them, I would either try to be with them or I would be with them.
Right.
I don't want to be with them. Like I'm here talking to you, whoever
Mm-hmm.
you are, and that's your thing to deal with.
Right.
That's not my insecurity to deal with.
Right. And I think that I don't think that there's a wrong or a right in that situation. I think it's all a
Yeah,
matter
it's
of
just an incompatibility.
what you're
Right.
willing to deal with and
Yeah.
what you're not willing to deal with. And
Mhm.
if you decide, I know for me personally, if I like, was dating somebody and they worked with a partner of theirs for, who was a partner for a long time, I might also be uncomfortable with it. But at the same time, you don't that's not the argument. It's more of, yeah, it's probably not going to work. Or maybe it is like, let's have a deeper conversation about it. Let's
Yeah.
see if I
Ask
can ever
questions
be,
about it.
yeah. And
Yeah,
because
please do.
I've been in situations like that before where there's a situation and it's kind of uncomfortable, but then I just ask questions and I'm like,
Yeah.
how I feel about it is heavily dependent on how they respond to it. Are they getting
Mhm.
defensive about it? Are they getting upset about
Exactly.
it? That's
And
when
it's
I'm like,
very telling. That's a good
okay,
point.
well,
Yeah.
you're being weird about it, so this feels gross now. So I'm not going to do
Exactly.
that. But if you're
No,
level-headed
completely.
and you're like, actually, no, this is the situation and this is what we do now, and I'm like, okay, well, you don't seem to have a like, what if I talk to her? And go, okay, go ahead.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. It's like so it just it's that level of comfortability and it's a reassurance thing, and yeah, I think that but you can't get to that point without having that conversation. If all you hear is
Agreed.
yeah, well,
Hmm.
this is my situation. Oh, I can't do that. Fuck that.
Hmm.
Okay, that's fine
And
too.
and
Cool.
and everything that we're talking about is just difficult from a relationship standard, right?
Hmm.
Especially in the beginning. Now imagine this on a dating app. Do you
Right.
know what I'm saying? Imagine
Right.
this on a dating app where you see somebody and you're
Right.
like, oh, you work with your ex, you talk to your ex. That's
Scroll.
an immediate
Yeah.
swipe left
Hmm.
on so many people where you're just like, or you could just ask a question about something, have a quick conversation about it, and then you can see that it's not a threat to you.
Right.
B- But again, that just lends itself to the thing that I was saying about it, everybody being disposable. Like everything
Yeah.
is just so, it's so disposable now.
It's so easy to just go, oh wow, this person is, they're attractive and we have this in common. He likes to garden and he likes to do this and oh, but he does this. Or like, I'm trying to think of, oh, he has dogs and doesn't like cats. All right, fuck him. And, but you don't know if that person hates cats. Maybe they just have never run into them. And, it's the person that I'm dating now is allergic to cats. And he was like, normally cats are a deal breaker. And I'm like, yeah, normally somebody who doesn't like cats or is allergic is a deal breaker for me too. But here we find ourselves trying to make it work. And it's kind of like going back to what you said earlier is you try to make it work when, it's there's things that you have to compromise,
Mhm.
if he's a good person and he makes me happy and he does this for me and he takes out my trash and he lifts the heavy things and he does all these wonderful things for me, I can clean the couch for him when he comes over so that he doesn't sneeze all night. So,
Yeah.
it's and going back to the whole, personal preference and whatever, that kind of reminded me of the ghosting thing that I wanted to bring up is the topic of
Oh.
ghosting because I did talk to somebody recently who said that his opinion on ghosting which I told him it's not right or wrong. Everybody has their own opinion on it. It's not my opinion, but his opinion on it was I don't owe anybody anything. So if we've been on 4, 5, 6 dates and you never talk to me again, I don't ever talk to you again, that's cool. And he was saying it from the perspective of he's been ghosted a pretty decent amount, and he's like, I it doesn't bother me because she doesn't owe me anything. And I was like, well, you are nicer than I am. I
Within the
again,
context of like, here's the thing. Okay, I'm sorry to
no,
interrupt.
no, no, you're
Continue.
good.
You finish.
No,
Um,
the context is just that let's say you've been on 4 or 5 dates with somebody, you've been texting, you've been calling, whatever, and then they just don't talk to you anymore after date number 5. You never hear from them again. That's the ghost. He was saying, well, she doesn't owe me anything. And he's not wrong to say that. She doesn't owe him anything. But what my argument was, well, it's a matter of respect, I think, for me, is
100%. Nobody owes anybody anything. You're
right.
right. Here's
Right.
the thing. Like, if we're in a relationship, I don't owe you anything. I don't owe you kindness. I don't
Mm-hmm.
owe you fidelity. I don't owe you anything.
Right.
I'm a grown ass man. I can do whatever I want. That said, what you choose to do and how you choose to treat people is indicative of your character.
Mm-hmm.
So if you've gone out, here's the thing, it's one thing if you're chatting with somebody and it just fizzles out, like that's one thing. I don't
Right.
consider that ghosting. But if you've been on a few dates with somebody and then you just want to stop talking to them, yeah, I don't owe you anything. But as a person who tries to put more good out into the world,
Right.
for me, I would want to give you the respect of at the very fucking least a quick text. Because
Something.
how long does it take? You could literally do it on your bathroom break at work. You
Right.
could go in and be like, hey, just been really thinking about things. I don't feel like we have the level of compatibility that I'm looking for.
Mm-hmm.
I think you're a great person. It's just probably not going to be for me.
Right.
Um, I wish you good luck in the journey. Boom. Shit.
That took 13 seconds.
Save what I just wrote, put it in your
Right.
notes app, cut and paste that thing
Voice to text it.
every time you're gonna ghost somebody.
Right.
Just send
Copy
that.
pasta it. Yeah.
And then they'll be like, what do you mean? Be like, and then you don't then you
And
don't,
then
okay,
after that, you know what? I said what I had to
I
say.
said what I had to
I'm
say.
good.
But come on, man. Like again, maybe this is just me projecting my thing where I want to leave people a little bit better,
Yeah.
and again, I know that I'm gonna have missteps along the way. I know that people are gonna misinterpret my intent. They're gonna, say, oh, well, you did this to me, and blah, blah, blah. I know that that's going to happen in the future.
Hmm.
I know it will. But I'm trying, I guess, is my thing, is I'm trying to actively not be mean or shitty or manipulative or any of the bad things that so much of us have to deal with, and as far as dating goes. But as far as ghosting goes, um, I feel like it's reached this peak with the disposability of current dating culture,
Right.
where I don't feel like this level of ghosting happened back when it was an earlier version of online dating. I just
Right.
feel like people wouldn't do that. They would just, you met, you chatted a little bit, and then you're like, let's go grab coffee, let's go out for a drink, let's,
Right.
because the truth is that, like, I don't want to get dinner with you for a first date. I really don't. Shit's awkward.
Yeah.
It makes it weird, and it puts a weird pressure on it,
Right.
and I don't like that. I'm not saying we can't do that for the second or third or fourth or whatever, but for the first one, it's just a pre-interview. it's
Yeah.
it's
We're just
it's
here to
a,
get to know each
hey,
other.
I'm just seeing if we vibe in person, because
Hmm.
just as well as I do, that you've met plenty of people who looked great online, and then you got in front of them, and then you're like, oh, you got a real bad shitty vibe.
Yeah.
Or they go and drop some racist shit right in front of you, and you're like, oh, I only needed 5 minutes here. Thank
Yeah.
God we're not waiting for appetizers.
Right. Yeah, I've definitely run into that before. My favorite story to tell is when I met up with a guy and he ordered an orange juice and whiskey as his drink. And that was my first red flag, where I was like, I feel like I'm not being super judgy here, but that's a weird thing to get. I didn't say that, but in my head I'm like, that's a weird thing to get. Whatever. Fine. And then he followed it up with just a tall glass of orange juice by itself. And I was like, this is also really weird. And then he proceeded to say some real racist shit after that. I was like, yeah, I gotta go. Like, I should have left at the first orange juice and whiskey. Why am I still here? But yeah, I think it's definitely different vibes because there are some people that are also very charming via text and
Yeah.
terrible in person, and vice
Yep.
versa.
Yep.
Where they're great in person, but they're awful in text. I prefer that than vice versa. But yeah, there's people that like, yeah, you'll text them and you're like, wow, this person's great. And they're hitting all the right, categories, notes, whatever. And then you meet them in person and you're like, what? But I think that's kind of the thing, right? I think it's a little bit easier to put on a show online than it is in person. I think in person, it's a
Yes and
lot.
no.
You
I
can
think
put a
people get
mask on in person, but I don't think it lasts.
I think that people can be good at one or the other or both.
Yeah.
I think that there are people who have honed a craft at being in person. And I
Mm.
think that people have honed a craft and followed a script
Mm-hmm.
via text,
Yeah.
and then but it really just comes down to I just want to see you relaxed. I want to see you
Yeah.
talk about the thing you're excited about.
Right.
What are you passionate about? What do you collect? What's the
Right.
thing that you experienced in 8th grade that changed the way that you saw the world? Tell
Right.
me about that. And when you get somebody talking, they'll forget to put up their errors.
Right.
They'll forget about that. And then they won't think of like, "Oh, I got to hit this note. I got to say this. I got to make her smile like this. Oh,
Yeah.
I got to, every third line has got to be a joke." Like
Mm-hmm.
it's not like that. It's they'll forget all that and then you get to see the real person. So that's a
Right.
really good way to kind of cut through a lot of that bullshit is to have
Yeah.
them talk about something that they're passionate about.
Yeah. I like my mantra with dating now since last year was to date somebody for a few months and then really get to know them, see them in different situations. I want to see what you're like at the airport. I want to see what you're like when we're running late for something. I want to see what you're like when I tell you to plan something for tonight. Like, hey, I don't want to plan whatever we're doing tonight. Can you just plan everything? I want to see your reaction to it. I guess not test them. I don't like the way that that sounds, but I guess it is testing it in a way. But I want to see you in certain situations that are a little bit more, there's a little bit more pressure there because in those situations is when you really see how people are and how they treat you in those situations. And that's something that I saw when
No, that's a good point.
I dated somebody last year who, like, we were being rushed out the door for something and he just became the biggest asshole. And I was just like, why are you rushing me? He's like, oh, I'm not rushing, you're rushing yourself. I was like, what the fuck are you talking? Now you're not even making sense. I was like, this is like you've given from 45 minutes. Now I have 10 minutes to pack my shit and get out of this hotel. Like,
Mm,
can you just like, and it just caused a giant argument. And it's just instead of having somebody who was like, hey, you know what? We have a little bit of time. We don't have to rush. Like, let me help you pack. What do you need help with? It was, no, you got to do this and you got 10 minutes to do it. And situations like that you don't get from a first date, a second date, a third date.
yeah.
You don't get that. You get those when you start experiencing things together that are not dinner or a movie.
Yep.
And
That's the easy shit.
that's dude, it's so oh my god, it's so how do you explain this to boomers where I would tell them like, "Oh, how did dinner go?" "Oh, it was great." How did drinks go?" "It was fantastic." Well, how come all of these dates go really well, but then you never end up dating them? Because it went well because I was there. Because I was having fun and because I was making the conversation and trying to get stuff cuz I've so many times gone on dates with people where I'm like, so what do you do, and like, so what do you like to do, and and these people give you nothing, and I'm like, okay, well, I guess like we'll talk about this then or whatever. So it's yeah, it was fun because I was I had fun. I'm gonna have fun anywhere I go.
Mhm.
The company sucked, but it was okay.
Yeah, and that's a good point, but that kind of goes back around to the thing that I kind of said in the beginning is that a lot of people will be like, "Oh, this dude wouldn't stop talking about himself."
Right.
But to your point, you were like, "This dude told me nothing about
Gave me
himself."
nothing. Yeah, I would
You
rather.
know?
Yeah, I think that's the thing is I would try to pull things out of them, but then you try to not have it sound like you're interviewing them, right? It's like, this
Right.
isn't an
It should
interrogation.
flow. It
Right.
should flow. This
Right.
topic should naturally flow into another thing, but at the same time, you're also dealing with first date jitters.
Right.
You
Right.
know, and
Yeah.
especially if you haven't done this a lot, if you haven't
Mhm.
gone on a lot of first dates, or if you're just generally uncomfortable with sharing things about yourself to a
Mhm.
complete stranger, let's not pretend that that's not like a thing. Like,
Right.
yeah, that's essentially what's going on is you are divulging and being expected to
Yeah.
be vulnerable to a stranger
Right.
who, if you look at the odds, this person's probably not going to work out
Right.
as a long-term thing. They're
Right.
probably not. Look at the odds, look at your
Right.
track record, like, um, and so that in and of itself is just an odd situation to be put in, and
Right.
everybody reacts and responds differently. Some people thrive in that, some people
Yeah.
shrink in that,
Yeah.
and you never know what you're getting
Mhm.
at all.
Right. And that's
And
why I think I don't know. I don't know how it is for you. I think it's different for men. But when it comes to the dating apps, and if you're talking to somebody on the dating apps, are you somebody that like you were like, let's meet tonight, or like what was your, I guess, did you have a time frame of from when you first started talking to when you wanted to meet that person?
sooner the better.
Okay. So you were
Let's
like,
get
I
this
want to
out of
do
the
this
way.
fast. Oh, okay. See,
Like, hey,
I was the opposite.
no, I'm like, I see I like what I see so far.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna get what I could get out of your profile, and hopefully
Mm-hmm.
you got whatever you could get. So, hey, let's test this thing in person. And
Mm-hmm.
I don't even care if it's, I don't know, you want to meet up at Jewel and pick out cucumbers together. Like, I don't care where it's at. I don't care about the venue. I
Right.
just want to see if this is something that we both want to continue to like
Right.
pursue. I would rather, yeah, let's go grab coffee. Where are you at? I'll come. There's a tea shop. Let's go get tea. Like, I
Yeah.
don't care. You want to get drinks? Oh, fine. Let's go get drinks. I don't drink. I can sit there with a mocktail. It's just
Yeah.
fine. Like, I don't care. I get impatient in a weird
Mm-hmm.
way to like people are like, oh, well, maybe in like a couple of weeks. And I'm like,
Ooh, yeah, weeks is a
what
lot.
like
Yeah.
why are we doing like why like
Right.
you can't carve out 10 minutes, like
Right.
let's I'll come to you. where
Mm-hmm.
where do you where do you want to meet it doesn't matter. The venue is just an excuse,
Mm-hmm.
to like sit down and be like, all right, are you cool? Are
Yeah.
you cool? Like, even FaceTiming, like, all
Yeah.
right, let's FaceTime. Let's FaceTime just so I can get a general vibe.
Yeah.
Because then there's people that I've met and I'm like, oh, let's FaceTime. We FaceTime and I'm just like, oh, this is nope.
Yeah, it's not gonna
This
work.
is this is
Yeah.
nope.
Yeah, that's fair. I feel like I was always somebody that like because I've had a couple guys that would be like, "Oh, let's like, are you free tonight? Let's go do this." And I'm like, "No, not free tonight. I have plans tonight. I have things that I'm doing. I'm busy
Oh yeah,
tonight,
if you have
busy
plans, then
tomorrow."
yes,
Yeah.
I completely
My
understand that.
my thing was always like, I'm busy the next couple of days. Or like, so let's say it was a Monday, I'd be like, I'm free Thursday. Do you want to go meet on Thursday somewhere or Wednesday somewhere or whatever else? And then if they were like, no, that's too far away, I'd be like,
Okay.
if you
I
can't
mean,
wait 3 days, like you can't talk to me for 3 days before we
yeah.
meet, then go talk to somebody else. Cause that to me was
Complete,
just
yeah.
so like,
But then again, that lends it to them because they definitely have people in there. Because
right.
if you found them attractive enough to swipe right,
Mm-hmm.
somebody else did too.
Right. Right.
And so to them, they're gonna have, well, she's making me wait till Thursday. God, I'll do it. I'll find somebody over here who
Right.
will meet me tonight.
Right. And that's kind of like was my thing was if you can't give me a couple days of conversation or leeway or whatever else, or you just think that I'm gonna drop everything and like hang out with you because I mean you know what it's like as you get older, things pile up and you're busy and you have things to
Mhm.
do and
Yeah,
like so sometimes and that was my thing too was I wanted to see where their reaction was. If they were like totally fine, yeah, whatever works best for you, I'm free these days, I'll make it work, then I'd be like, you know what, maybe I'm gonna squeeze you in tomorrow, let me see if I can make that work. Because
yeah,
at that point, because I see that you're lenient and you're nice, I'm more willing to move things around for you versus
sure.
somebody who's going to be a dick to me. Well, I don't want to move anything around for you now because I'd rather wash my hair than fucking hang out with you because you're kind of a dick.
Yeah.
So, so that's so interesting. So I guess going back to we were talking about social media and everything. We were talking about that probably half an hour ago, but the social media and everything of dating. And this is something that has heavily affected my dating life and career of, dating somebody who was a little bit more prominent on social media or even people that are not prominent on social media, but they use the DMs and everything else to kind of live this secret life of validation and DMing other women and yada yada. I won't say in your experience because I have come to realize this isn't everybody's experience, but do you think that social media has played a big part in ruining relationships and or ruining dating in itself?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes,
I agree.
absolutely.
Been there. I
Yes.
agree.
No, absolutely. I think that it gives people uh people who wouldn't necessarily go out of their way to cheat,
Yeah.
it gives them, it puts it in their lap
Easier
for them.
avenue. Yeah, it's easy.
Yeah, where somebody would be like, I had a friend once who was in a band and they were pretty popular. And he said, he goes, "Oh, I can stay faithful." He goes, "As long as she's with me the whole time."
Okay. I don't think that's being called faithful.
This is a long time ago. This is a long, long
Yeah.
time ago. But it's just an interesting thing that he had said, which was, I can do it when there's no other options around.
Right. Right.
He goes, if there's no other options around, and there's a saying that I don't know if I believe, but is I think has a lot of validity to it, which is men are only as faithful as their options.
Mhm.
And social media has given people,
Yeah.
just people in general, options. All right.
Endless. Yeah.
Now here's the thing: when you get off dating apps, those are people who are there with the intent of meeting somebody on for a romantic thing, right? That takes that off the table. That's great. But now you're if you have a any kind of following, you're going to have people in your DMs,
Mhm.
right? And especially if you are an attractive person with some sort of presence that people find attractive. All right. Like if you do some kind of creative thing, you do have some kind of art, you do something that people find really attractive. If you found them attractive, somebody else is going to find them
Right.
attractive. And that's the thing that I always tell myself. Just
Mhm.
because I find somebody attractive, guess what? There's 1,000 other people. If I find you attractive, 1,000 other people find you attractive, and
Right.
vice versa.
Right.
And so the thing is that when you have social media, you have the ability of people sneaking into them for what because they're like, well, I want that.
Yeah.
I want that.
Yeah.
And so you have that. Um, but then it just comes down to whether or not somebody's gonna entertain that.
Right.
And there are people, you know, people in general, not just saying men, I'm saying men and women who are
Mhm.
just gonna be like, no, thank you. I am currently dating somebody,
Mhm.
please don't
Yeah.
do this kind of thing,
Flattered, but no thanks. Yeah.
Exactly.
Right.
And so, but the thing is that it makes it a lot easier
Yeah.
for people
Right.
who would normally not slip and fall to slip
Right.
and fall. Does that make
Yeah.
sense?
Oh, what I say my whole theory behind that is that it almost feels like it's not real if it's a DM. If it's somebody that's just sliding into your DMs and you're being flirty with them, because all you have to do is close your phone and not look at it anymore. It's within this app that you don't open all the time. And it's not even your text messages, so it's just kind of like you throw it to
Mhm.
the side, right? So it's almost like it's not real. It doesn't matter. I just flirted with some girl who lives in California. I live in New York. What does it fucking matter? I'm never gonna see her anyways. So I'm just gonna do it really quick because it feels good in the moment. But it's not cheating because I didn't even see her. I didn't even like touch her. I don't even know who this person is.
Yeah.
And I think that that's kind of the mentality behind that. Behind some of it, I think some people obviously it's different, but it's like it's not even real. And yeah, I think social media has made it way too easy to do that for people to slide into the DMs. They've made it way too easy for men and women to compare these fitness models, influencers, whoever to whoever they're currently dating. I think it's kind of like, it's not just magazines that we're seeing anymore. It's not just movies. Now it's just on your feed in front of you all the time, every day, you know. these people that are hotter than your significant other or whatever else. And and then you also have the performative relationships and influencers who their relationship is so much better than yours because she's doing this for him every day and he's doing this for her every day, and their relationship is perfect and yours sucks. And you know but that's not real.
No, it's
They're
not.
doing they're setting a fucking camera up, they're setting a tripod up, they're hitting play, and then they're recording the same thing 7, 8, 9 times to get that
Get it
shot.
right.
and
Right.
and it's not real, but you see these things, and I'm guilty of seeing sometimes these people, and I'm like, oh my god, that's so sweet. Wait. Like, again, also there's a tripod set up filming this, and
Yeah.
there's lighting set up. This is so fake, and
Mhm.
you tend to lose yourself in those kinds of things. So I'm very much like, social media has left such a gross taste in my mouth for a vast number of reasons, and that, when it comes to dating and how easy it is to emotionally cheat, whatever you want to call it, I
Mhm.
think cheating is cheating. It's made it way too easy. It's way too easy to access people right now.
It is. And I think that they're slowly starting to have a lot more people are putting their shit on private. A
Mhm.
lot of people are just basically deleting a lot of stuff as well.
Yeah.
At least that I've seen people kind of like taking a step back and kind of realizing maybe I don't want all this information out there for a bunch of strangers to get a hold of,
Yeah.
especially with the current climate of everything that's going on in the
Mhm.
world. Like I feel just from what I'm seeing, a lot of people pulling back now, which I think is a
Yeah.
good thing.
I've been kind of like that in the social media scene with Instagram. I've kind of focused more on this, on the podcast and the
Yeah.
cosplay and everything, and I put less of my personal life on there. And with the person that I'm seeing now, I've struggled back and forth. Some days I wake up and I'm like, well, I want to post all about it, and then some days I'm like, I kind of want to keep this to myself in my own little corner, because this way nobody can touch it. Nobody can judge it. Nobody can, like this is mine, and
Let me ask you this though, and I mean, maybe I'm completely off base, but do you also feel like maybe you're not putting it out there because that means it's closing a door to any potential
no,
others?
no, absolutely not. Cause I get DMs constantly, and I've gotten them when I've been in relationships that were
Mhm.
in people's faces, and I'll
Okay.
get them at any time. And I always tell people I'm seeing somebody. I am dating somebody, and whatever. So that is something that, like, not even a thought in my mind. And if I was dating somebody who cared about that, who said to me, hey, how come you never post me? In a heartbeat, I would do it. I would no hesitation whatsoever. My only caveat would be, well, then you have to do it too. So that would be the trade off there. Well, if I'm doing it because I'm a girl, and you know that there's probably a lot of guys in my DMs, well, then you have to do it too. That would be my only thing. But no, there's not even like a modicum of me going, well,
Okay.
then nobody's gonna slide into my DMs anymore. Oh
Do
no.
you or do you think that you don't do it because you're afraid that people are going to judge it and potentially reach out to that person or try to infiltrate or anything like that?
I
Because
think.
there are
Mm,
evil people on the internet, you
Oh,
know?
there are. And I with the person that I'm dating now, if any, which I don't think anybody that follows me would reach out to that person and say anything bad about me or anything like that, or try to break anything up. There's definitely none of that. My only thing with posting slash not posting, etc., is that I have so often posted things about myself and posted too much about myself and
Mm,
who I'm dating and who I'm with. And I think most of it is, this is something that's going well and it's going swimmingly, and I kind of like just having it to myself for right now. And then there's another part of me that kind of is that superstitious part where the second I post something about us, something bad is going to happen. We're going to break up, and then I'm going to look like a
okay.
fucking idiot because, oh, she dated another guy and now he's gone already. So I think there
Right.
is that part of me with that too. And for Facebook, because I have a lot of family on Facebook, I don't like when the familia is like, oh, she's dating this
Oh,
person now, she's almost 40 years old, she better get on it, that kind of thing. um that to me is more of a like, oh, man, I'd rather not kind of thing on there. But again, going back to that, if my, significant other had ever even showed a slight, hey, like, I wish you would, 100% I would do it. There's no
Yeah.
hesitation there. Yeah.
I'm just
Um,
curious because I've heard multiple reasons why people don't.
yeah, no.
And
Yeah,
so
it's
yeah.
it's never a oh, it's gonna stop me from getting all them DMs. That's never stopped them before.
Mm.
um, but yeah, well, that is we're like getting to the end here as far as our little outline goes, our professional little outline.
It was so nice. You sent me this outline. I was like, this
I
feels
know
like
what's
a presentation.
I have to put bullet points down. We didn't do all of them because we kind of organically got there, but I have to do it otherwise I'll forget everything and then I'll think about it later and I'm like, "Ah, man, I wanted to talk about that." So, what I wanted to get into were your biggest lessons in dating, and I had a couple questions for you. And
Hmm.
I think you kind of answered the first one, which was, what was your biggest lesson learned from your book, A Thousand First Dates? And I don't want to make that the focus be like the dates themselves, but more so maybe just writing the book. What was your biggest lesson throughout that entire adventure, writing, going on dates, publishing, etc.?
Well, most like I mentioned was learning to shut the fuck up,
Mhm.
learning to listen, learning to be humble, learning that everybody's experiences are completely the way what they put out into the world, what they're looking for is everything is based upon the way they grew up,
Mhm.
what their experiences were, their environment, the things that they were victims of or survived. Everything is shaped by there's no two people in the world that want the exact same thing. None.
Mhm.
And like and how drastically different every single individual person is. And so when people blanket statement like, oh, women are like this, men are like this, or straight guys are like this, or young guys are like, it's like everybody is so drastically different. Now, granted, there are plenty of things that have stereotypes for a reason, but I think that what I learned was shut up, listen to what they're saying,
Yeah.
in ingest what they're saying, ask questions, learn to ask questions. People
Mhm.
want to talk about themselves. Let them, you know,
Yeah.
like, okay, so, oh, that happened to you. How did that make you feel? Why does it make you feel that way? And
Right.
so what I'm doing is I'm asking questions because I am genuinely curious, but I'm also learning what makes you happy, what makes you tick, and then judging it based upon what I want in my life and then being able to make an accurate assessment on whether or not I find you attractive enough to be potentially compatible.
Mhm.
Instead of being like, oh man, she's fucking hot. Like, dude, that shit. I was telling somebody this yesterday at work. I was like, you could stand on the corner here, and in the next 5 minutes, you would see 10 hot women pass by.
Mhm.
Somebody being hot, like, we put so much weight on that.
Right.
That's just the thing that opens the door. That's all. And you walk in the room and then you decide, you look around and you're like, do I want to stay in this room or not? Do you know what I'm saying?
Right.
The attractive thing is just one tiny little bit of potential
Right.
compatibility on a laundry list of the really important things.
Right.
And so like just because I sat down with you for coffee is mostly based upon how we find each other attractive.
Mhm.
Do you know what I'm saying? Like physically.
Sure.
Now, let me ask you questions. Let me find out how you deal with stress,
Right.
how you deal with the future,
Mhm.
how you deal with the past, things that have happened to you, things that you survived. Let me ask you about happiness. What makes you feel fulfilled?
Mhm.
Let me ask you these things. And that will tell you a drastically different, um, I don't know, kind of like information that you need
Yeah.
to determine whether or not you're compatible with somebody. And so, like, that book taught me to just shut up. Dude, I have been yapping my whole life, so much so that when I was in elementary school, they had to literally physically put my desk up against the wall in the corner
You were
because
one of those?
I was that kid who just never shut up.
Yeah.
And that was the thing was that like when my ex in the 90s sat me down and was like, "Hey, You don't ask me about my life.
Right.
What she was really saying was like, because you don't shut up.
Right.
You don't stop talking about you. You don't listen to what makes me happy.
Right.
And that was one of like, and not that I hadn't been already kind of like on that trajectory, but like that book really kind of made me kind of like realize like, hey, everybody's got a story,
Yeah.
and it's an important story,
Mhm.
and everybody has experiences that you don't know. So everybody that you meet knows something you don't know, Chris.
Mhm.
And when I learned that, I was like, well, what do they know that I don't know?
Right. What
I
can they
want to
teach me?
know that,
Yeah.
and I want to know what it is that makes them happy. All
Mhm.
right. And do I have that in me? Do I have the patience? Do I have the kindness? Do I have, I don't know, the want
Yeah.
to do those things? Because if I don't, then this is just not compatible. This is
Right.
just not going to work. And it's not that they're bad or anything like that. It's just that my lid doesn't fit their pot,
Right.
you
I've never
know?
heard that before. That's funny. Yeah, I think going back to like the attractiveness thing that you said, because it's something that I wanted to mention earlier today. There's this one quote, and I tried looking for it earlier, but I couldn't find it. But it essentially was talking about how like you might not be fully attracted to somebody physically when you first see them. However, when you get to know them and you start to really love a person, they sort of morph into this gorgeous being that you're
Hmm.
like, this is the most beautiful person I've ever seen in my life because I
Hmm.
care about them so much and I love them so much. And that is something that I know I have experienced where I've dated people and I've been so crazy about them. And then afterwards, when things, shit hits the fan, you find out things, whatever, and you're like, huh, what the fuck was I thinking? But in that moment, in that relationship, you're like, this person's beautiful. I think that they're great, because you're seeing them for who they are, for their these wonderful qualities and whatever,
Like,
not just for their physical being.
yeah.
Um, but so then, if you could tell your younger single self anything from any era, if you give yourself one piece of advice, and let's say it's not shut the fuck up, what
Mm.
do you think it would be, or what topic would it surround if you need something a little broader?
I think it's such a simple sounding question, but it's really not at all. And I want to be able to do this question justice. Um, Probably you get back what you put out.
Okay.
You can't be a harvester of life. You can't. Um, you're only setting yourself up for failure, disappointment, and I believe you can call it karma, you can call it whatever you want to call it. I believe that if I put good out into the world, more good comes back. And when I actively concentrate on that, when I actively do it, it seems to work. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I know it sounds weird and like hippie, but it's true. It's when I found myself being selfish, when I found myself putting bad shit into this world, I found myself getting into, excuse me, um, having a lot of negative things happening to me
Mm-hmm.
in all regards.
I
And
think, yeah, I think that's more than fair.
sorry, I got a little itch in my throat. But
All good.
but uh but I feel like the more that I concentrate on, oh, all right, this person cut me off. Let him. I don't care.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas like that used to like,
Right.
somebody's real shitty to me. Okay. Somebody says like something rude to me, like let's say I don't know, dating somebody and they turned out to be somebody that I didn't think that they would be. And instead of being like, I'm gonna get them back and I'm gonna say mean things to hurt them because now I know how to hurt them. Like, okay, okay,
Yeah.
like let it go. And then I don't know, pay it forward in a weird way and put good out into the world and try to be nice and kind and help people that need help. And when I find that I do that, I find that like, yeah, and I don't know, maybe it's real, maybe it's not, but I feel like this abundance comes in
Mm-hmm.
then. I feel like I get a level of fulfillment
Yeah.
that I didn't before.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like I was kind of born into survival mode as a child. So that's what I know. And my
Mm-hmm.
whole life has been instability and chaos, my whole life. up until the last, like, I don't know, uh, 10 years maybe.
Mhm.
And because of that, like, I was kind of always in like semi-feral mode,
Yeah.
you know? Like, you eat when you can, you eat as much as you can, like I can tell you stories for days on how I, had to survive because my friend Joe worked at a Speedway gas station. He'd be like, coming after midnight, my boss is gone, and you can eat all the roller hot dogs because we're about to throw them away,
Oh
and then
god.
you can get a 44 ounce of Coke, and that's what I would eat.
Yeah.
That's what I ate for like an entire summer.
Right.
Or how we go to Shell gas stations and shove pop up our arms in the summertime, wearing coats and like food into our pockets because we were so broke. We had
Yeah.
no money. And so, like, I feel like I've always been on this kind of like fight or flight
Mhm.
response my whole life, and I haven't
Sure.
been able to have the ability to just calm
Breathe.
down
Yeah.
and feel comfortable and stable.
Yeah.
Like, I hadn't had that, and because of that, I put a lot of that energy back out into the world, you
Mhm.
know, because I was still dealing with the trauma and the abuse that I suffered as a child, because I didn't know how to. Because when all of those memories came flooding back one night, literally, I didn't know that was a thing. Like,
Mhm.
you'd hear about it, like, not to get too deep into this, but like, I didn't know like your brain could turn memories off. I didn't
Mhm.
know. Like, I thought that was just like a thing that people said.
Right.
I was like, nah, it's just they're lying to you, or this is what people say. No. And my one of my ex-girlfriends, we were laying in bed, and she was just basically asking me about like, had I ever been abused? And I was like, no, no, no. And she just started kind of like, well, because there's a lot of signs that blah, 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 and it hit me, and it felt like a brick fell on my chest, and I was like, they all came flooding back, and it was like it blocked it out. And because of that, I had a reaction to the PTSD of all of this stuff, and I started putting out this manic energy. I started doing horrible things, putting it out into the world, and I had this really, really bad era of my life that I'm
Mhm.
not proud of. And through therapy, I kind of realized it was kind of a reaction to that.
Sure.
I'm not excusing that my behavior. I am taking full accountability. I knew
Right.
the difference between right and wrong. But my point is that, like, now I'm at a point in my life where I have stability and I
Mhm.
have peace. And now I don't want to let someone into this peace if they're not going to accentuate the peace in the same way that I would accentuate their peace. And so now I'm very comfortable. I'm very comfortable. And now that I'm in this kind of like place of peace, I can think about like, what can I do for others?
Mhm.
How can I be there for friends, for my family? What can I do to put more good out into the world?
Yeah.
You know, and or to people who were in a place where I was 20, 30 years ago. How can I help them? What words can I say to them that might make them, I don't know, not gonna fix anybody, but might give them I don't know, a nudge in a different direction.
Mhm.
Because I can tell you there are multiple times in my life where I came to a crossroads and someone said something, and it changed the way that I behaved. One of those being my girlfriend sitting me down and being like, "Hey, when you don't do this, it makes me feel this.
Right.
2 + 2 is 4, you dumb boy." And I was like,
Shit.
"Holy shit." And here I am talking about it 30 years later.
Right.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And can I do 2 + 2 is 4 for someone out there?
Right.
And if I can, I want to.
Mhm.
And because when I do that, good things come back to me.
Yeah.
And then the great thing is it makes me feel good.
Yeah.
Like, it's not this altruistic thing. Like, it's like, no, it makes me feel good when I get to do good things for other people and put good out into the world. And I don't know. And that's just kind of like where I'm at. And I think that, if to bring this all the way back around, if I could say something to my younger self, is put more good out into the world, because more good will come back to you.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm a big believer in that. I'm a big believer in that the energy that you put out will eventually make its way back to you in some way, shape, or form. I'm too much into the metaphysical world to not believe that good equals more good. So
Mhm.
I totally get that. So then the last thing I'm going to ask you before we get into the speed round is going to be, as far as red flags, green flags, is there anything nowadays that you look for that maybe has changed from back when you first started dating? Is there any red flags that maybe you used to ignore that now you're like, no, I what like I can't do that. Or maybe the other way around. Something you used to think was a red flag that now you're like, it turns out not. Same thing with green
100%.
flags.
Yes.
Hit me with it.
Oh my God, she's so wild and adventurous, and she's so, oh my God, she says
Oh,
she's
that's
crazy. Oh my God, she's
funny.
so fun. Oh my God. No,
She's so
no, it's
cool.
not.
Yeah.
It's chaos and
Yeah.
instability. And so like I've dated
That's so funny that you're saying that.
I dated she was a dancer, she was a stripper for years. And I was like, she's, oh my God, she's like crazy and she's so adventurous. And this is so, and I'm like, oh, when you kind of get past that 3 to 6 month mark, or that you get when you start to date somebody where, oh my God, somebody's so hot, that wears off after 3 to 6 months, right? And
Right.
then no matter who you're dating, right? Then you're just like, oh, well, let me take a closer look at this maniac, this feral raccoon that is causing and bringing so much destruction to my life. And it's getting in my cupboards and it's shitting on the rug. And it's, you know what I'm saying? Like, you're just like, I don't need what just, how did I let this thing in the
What
door?
happened
And
to where did this gremlin come from?
I don't want it. I don't
Yeah.
need it. I don't care how big your fake titties are. I don't care how hot you are anymore. I don't care. What I care about is, do you accentuate my peace? Because I worked really hard to get this level
Yeah.
of peace, and I'm not letting anyone in that's going to disturb this peace.
Hmm.
And again, there are a handful of far-sighted women in this world who still think that I am relatively appealing, and they have made it known that they would like to be a part of this piece, and I say, no you're not. No you're not. i
Back.
didn't build i didn't build
Away.
this bubble of peace to have you come in and harvest
Right.
and not add to the piece.
Right.
No way. And so
Right.
like that's 100%. 20
Yeah.
years ago, Chris was like, man, oh, let's date all the strippers. Oh my
Yeah.
God, this is so amazing. Oh my
This is
God,
so cool. Yeah.
you have a cocaine problem? It's cool.
She's
I'm your sober
quirky and
buddy.
fun. Yeah.
I'm your sober buddy. I'm here. I'll drive you wherever.
Oh
Don't worry about
God.
it.
Yeah. That is so
Nope.
funny. That is
Nope.
something that I have definitely run into with guy friends of mine where they love the wild child, right? And I'm just like, you know what? As long as you know what it is, man, because she's not the one. I
No,
promise you
no,
she's not the
no,
one.
no. No, no, no. They
Yeah.
don't know that they're being led by their demons.
Right.
They don't even recognize their demons yet, much less have
So
tried to
funny.
wrangle their demons or slay their demons. They don't even know that they're surrounded by demons. They don't know it. And so, hey, that's not my problem
You're
anymore.
like,
And
I'm out.
so,
I'm out washing
nope,
my
I
hands of it.
don't
Yeah.
want it. Nope.
That's
Nope.
so funny. Okay, so it sounds like that's your one then. That's the one that you just like immediately went
I
to.
went right to it. Oh, I know exactly what you're talking about when
I
you ask.
know. All right. Well, then with that being said, Chris, is there anything else that you want to bring up before we get into the speed round?
No, please go consider going to the catcade.org. We're a nonprofit cat rescue, and it's my way of trying to put more good out into the world. I started it in 2017 with my partner Shelly, and who was my former girlfriend, current business partner. Um, and we've saved over, I think, 3,700 cats now, cats and kittens that were going to be slated for euthanasia. And that's what we do. We save and rescue cats, and we save broken ass cats. And then so yeah, so please consider going to thecatk.org, checking out the work that we do. And it would be cool if you wanted to sign up to become a monthly donor, because that shit helps us
Yeah.
pay for surgeries and medications and vet visits.
Yeah, and that's how we met.
It is how we met.
Was through the Catcade,
You,
and I've
you
been
came
there.
in, you gave us your
Yeah,
time.
and I volunteered there for a little bit, and it was awesome. And I wish that I could have volunteered there longer. I would go there after work, and my God, it was the most fulfilling thing ever because it was just like it's cleaning cat poop and sweeping, but let me tell you, it's the best job I've ever had. It was the best,
No, we
it was
appreciate it.
volunteering, but it was so much fun and it's so cool and it's such a cool concept. And I've taken probably 3 or 4 people there since where I've been like, "Oh, you're in Chicago, you want to go to the cat arcade?" and
Yeah.
and it's such a cool concept
Well,
for
thank
space,
you.
and you guys are doing incredible things. And yeah, I love it, and I everybody should go. It's the best place on earth. I mean, you walk in and it's just cats. That's it. It's cats.
Yeah,
Um,
everywhere.
cats everywhere. So, all right, are you ready for the speed round?
I don't know. Yes, I have no idea what I'm in for. So, but
So
yes,
the way
tell
that
me the
the
rules.
speed round, the way it's going to work is it's either going to be this or that, or yes
Mm-hmm.
or no. And I'm going to
Mm-hmm.
tell you. So I'm going to say yes or no, this or that, and then tell you what it is. So
Oh man, this is gonna be so tough for me because I'm a yapper and I'm gonna
I
want to
know,
explain why.
and you can't. And if there's anything that you want to go back to, because it's good, we're gonna do the speed round. If there's anything that you're like, yes, but I want to talk about that later, just let me know, and we can talk about that later. We can talk about it right after, but we have to get through the speed round because it's the first thing on your noggin. So, are you
I'm
ready?
excited. Go.
All right. Which one is gonna be? It was more thrilling to you, getting an AOL reply or getting a match notification on a dating app?
AOL reply.
Would you rather have a slow burn or an instant spark?
Part of me wants to say instant spark, but it is the real thing is a slow burn.
Okay. Love at first sight, yes or no?
Yes.
Do soulmates exist, yes or no?
Yes.
Yes or no, is jealousy healthy sometimes?
Low level. Yes.
Okay. Would you rather text all day or save it for in person?
Text all day.
Would you rather date somebody with bad communication or date somebody who's emotionally unavailable?
Oof. Bad communication.
Okay. Would you rather have a private relationship or would you rather somebody post you on the internet?
Private.
Romantic gestures or daily consistency?
Daily consistency.
Yes or no, do you believe people can really change?
Yes. 100%.
Which do you prefer, chemistry or compatibility?
Ooh, that's hard.
Yeah, it's a tough one.
Chemistry.
Okay. Is loyalty a feeling or a decision?
Ooh, that's a good question. Um, it's a it can be a decision, but it is a feeling.
Okay.
Yes.
Yes or no, can attraction grow over time?
Yes.
Yes or no, do you think most people give up too easily?
Yes.
All right, that's it. That is the speed
Good
round.
job.
Nicely done. I know that some
Good
of them are
job.
really hard.
Those were really good questions. I
They're
didn't think that like that would be like I never thought of that. Like whether
yeah.
or not like loyalty is a decision or a feeling.
That one is so interesting to me because I can say I want to say both because it's just like yes, it is a
And that's what I
feeling,
said
but
is
I think it's a decision that you make though when
I
it's
think that
tested, right?
I think it can be a decision,
Mhm.
but I think that it should be like the genuine of it
Right.
is the feeling of
Right.
I want to be this for you.
Right.
I want to be safe for you. I want
Right.
you to feel
That's true.
confident in me. I want that for you.
Mhm.
So
Yeah, no,
like,
you're right. You're right. That actually
yeah.
that's a good point
th-
cuz yeah, I was leaning more towards decision, but yeah, saying it like that, yeah, it makes sense that it's a feeling. It's something that you feel. It's
Yeah.
something that you are,
Yeah.
and you're because you're feeling it that way. You're feeling that you are making the decision. You're
Mhm.
being loyal because it's what you're
Yeah.
feeling. Um, but that was really great. Good job. Nice
Yeah.
job
No,
with the
good
speed run.
job.
You don't win anything, unfortunately. I got nothing to give you. There are no right or wrong answers, just as quick this or that. But Chris, thank you so much for yapping with me today, dude.
Thank you so much for
This has
having
been
me.
really cool.
This has been a lot more fun than I was expecting. I'm not
Yeah,
gonna
this
lie.
it's cool. I think that everybody has experience with dating, especially the older that we get. And I love picking your brain about this stuff because you have such cool insights on everything, and you speak a lot more eloquently than I ever could. So I'm really happy that you were so willing to come on here and talk to us and be so vulnerable about all the different things that you
Yeah.
talked about
Yeah.
today. I think it's really cool, and I think you're such a great example for everyone, and I think specifically men for just how you are and your how emotionally available you are and how aware you are. So I appreciate you, man. This is Really
Thank you.
cool.
Thank you. That's very nice to hear.
Yeah.
That's very nice to hear.
Yeah.
I'm not good at taking compliments, but it's one of the things that it's one of the things I'm working on, so I'm learning to just say thank you, and
Yeah.
I appreciate it.
Of course. Well, thank you so
It's
much,
very
Krish. I
nice.
appreciate you. Um, thank you guys
Thank you for
for,
having me.
yeah, of course. Thank everybody
Yeah.
who, if you're listening, if you're watching, whatever. Again, I will go ahead and I will make sure that the Cat Arcade link is the Catcade is linked everywhere so that you guys can go either go visit, donate, do whatever you guys got to do. You can catch Chris on what's your Instagram handle?
Uh, Dead X Stop.
Yeah. Okay. Ooh.
DEADXSTOP.
I'll throw it on the screen too.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Chris. I appreciate you. Say bye to everybody.
Bye,
And
everybody. Thank you all so much
bye.
for listening.
Actually, you know what?